All right. So, going back to the Puers, this is from Farmer Leaf Tea. And, for me, the story about the tea is as important as the tea itself, as far as taste, as far as quality. And I really like Farmer Leaf because he has this really great YouTube channel where he discusses not only the tea, but he discusses the tea industry, the tea business, especially in Yunnan. And a lot of what he does sometimes is just like any, tea producer or tea reseller. He goes out and he sources tea and leaves from different places, and he's gracious enough to take his viewers along on the journey. And so he's in Jingmai. At least that's where some of his tea trees are. But this is 2004 Jingmai, and I've been a follower of his for quite some time. I don't think he was in Jingmai in 2004, so obviously this is something that he sourced there, and so really interested to try this out. Everything else I got from him was 2021 stuff, but this is one of the few, if not only, aged shanks that he had in stock, and so I was really interested in it just to kind of see, what it was about. The really interesting thing about this tea is that I don't smell anything from the dry leaf. Nothing. I mean, nothing. And I'm not sure. Um, I mean, 2004 is super old, and so you have to imagine that maybe the the age has to do with this. But I mean, I don't smell anything at all from this cake. So I imagine, I don't know. I don't know what to think. So this is the cold brew, 24 hours in the fridge, of course. And the leaves are pretty much all unfurled. They're all open. And so if there's any um, flavor to be had out of this thing, we're definitely going to get it in this first infusion. The liquor is very dark for a cold brew. Again, I have to imagine it has something to do with the age of the leaves. So let's see what we get here. I'm not going to pour up a whole lot because I do just want to taste this. Okay. And I think, yeah, again, um, dark brew, very clear as you can see, very translucent. There is zero plant material in here. I mean, none. So that's really interesting. Very different from what I've taste tested so far. Let's see what we get here. Well, I don't know what to say here. There's a little bit of bitterness, but it is different. I'm definitely tasting um, what I think is an autumn picking because it tastes like old leaves for sure. And I don't mean old in the sense of like old and stale and dank. I mean Old as in like fall, autumn leaf old. It tastes like a yellow and red leaf. You know what I mean? It has that flavor profile that you'd expect if you were to brew up a cup of those yellow and red leaves. And there is some bitterness there. It's sort of ashy. Um, yeah, no, I definitely get some ash in there, which is interesting. It's not smoky, but ashy. Yeah, yeah, ashy like an ashtray, literally. It's different. Um, so different in fact that I'm gonna actually pour up a little bit more. I think this is my first time doing this, just because I want to see um what more, if anything, I can get out of this. Well, I've heard ashy or ash described before in tasting notes. This is my first time experiencing it, but yes, definitely ash, no question about it. And again, definitely tastes like an autumn picking. Whether or not that's the case, it tastes that way for sure. I will tell you right away, this is um, definitely not my preferred tea at all. But it is interesting. And my goal, my goal, is always to try something new and learn, and but also try to find like my new favorite thing. You know what I mean? And so I purposely go out and get samples of stuff that is just completely different and new to me. Um, all right, so again, the dry leaf, and I really like the material of the bag that this comes in, and I love that farmer leaf logo is really similar to the Starbucks logo. All right, and so gonna see if maybe the color is a little different now for the camera. Oh, not really. Yeah, as you can see, I'm in a completely different location here, and so the camera is not liking this lighting. Let's see what happens if I open up this window. I wonder if you can still hear me, because that'd be really cool if you could. Oh, maybe it's this. Oh, okay. Obviously, there's some tangles in this thing. Going to take more time than what I think I want to spend. Okay. That closes it, opens it. Okay. Well, yeah. more time than what I want to spend trying to do that. But I am curious to see if even that little bit of light changed anything about the white balance. Let's see. Uh, Maybe a little bit. Yeah, so it just very dark leaf. Um, very easy to break apart. There are still some green leaves in there, but it is definitely for sure um, dark. And again, I've never. I mean, I'm sure I've experienced this in the past, but never with pu'er. I mean, it is definitely um, definitely no no smell. I forgot my wash cup. Right, here we go. And unfortunately, I don't have my kettle with me, so I have what I'm sure is near boiling water, but definitely not quite boiling. Okay, now let's see if we get any volatiles off of this. Okay, so yeah, so there is something, but it's and you know what? I do actually get this off of the dry leaf. It's just not what I'm accustomed to, and so it's very easy to dismiss the aroma. It's it's almost like it's doughy, not bread, but the like the dough of the bread. And but not okay. Here's the thing. I've made bread. Okay, so it doesn't actually smell like bread dough. All right, it doesn't. But it smells like bread dough if you've never made bread. If that makes sense, right? If you've never made bread, this is what you'd imagine bread dough smells like because it smells sort of like bread, but it's almost like wet fermented bread almost. Yeah, yeah, and because I've tasted the cold brew, I'm getting some of the ash um, notes too in the aroma, but it's very much in undertone. So much so that if I didn't have the cold brew, I don't think I'd be able to pick out that ash aroma. But it's definitely there. All right, so I'm gonna do a lot of water here. The leaves have only really begun to open up, and the cake is starting to fall apart. Gonna do a pretty quick infusion here. I didn't count, but I think that was maybe less than 10 seconds. Really sort of agitating the water and really wanting to break that cake up. It is um, still pretty held together, and the leaves are starting to the cake is starting to come apart, and the leaves are starting to open up, but they have not opened up yet. And man, I'll tell you, I am not liking the lighting in this particular locale. So I think the next time will um, definitely be elsewhere. So anyway, let's put the lid on this and see if we get some sort of different aroma after a while. All right, so here's the liquor, and again, dark, dark. Um, Definitely something like a brandy. Not red, not purple. Um, just a dark brown color. Um, a little bit of plant material. I would say average. So I think, and I'm sure that has something to do with me agitating the uh, the water too, because with this cold brew, because I had leaves both on the top and the bottom, I didn't see the need to shake it up or anything. And so I imagine that's the reason why I didn't have much plant material in the cold brew. All right, so let's check out this hot brew. See what we get. Hmm, it's weak. Um, yeah, it's weak. Definitely gonna need um, longer steep time, but I can pick out already that brewing this longer is definitely going to up the bitterness, and so it's gonna be a delicate balance here of steep time and bitterness. Um, Again, I don't have my kettle, so playing around with the temperature is going to be something brand new to me. But I think I can figure it out. And so right now, I'm kind of keeping the temperature about the same. And what I'll do is just kind of see where this infusion takes me, and then maybe I will get that temperature lower and play around with some different infusions. All right, that's about as long as I can stand it at the moment. I do see some steam coming off this water, so I know that I do have, like I said, less than boiling temperatures. And so depending on what this tastes like, I'll lower the water temperature, see if I can do maybe lower temperatures and longer steep times. The leaves are really starting to open up now, so if there's any flavor to be had out of this thing, um, I think we'll definitely get it on this infusion. They're really opening up. And so I think that has a lot to do with just the steep time. Yeah, same aroma. Has not changed at all. And like I said, even the dry leaf smells very similar. It's very mild, very mild. Very hard to pick up on really anything, but I stand by my um, you know, bread dough description. All right, so longer steep time didn't change the color of the liquor at all. So curious to see what this tastes like. Well, so um, I have to change my thought process about the brew being weak. The steeping time had to be what, 15 seconds, um, maybe a bit longer. Again, I'm not timing myself. Um, Again, same thing. Autumn leaves. Forest floor type of situation going on. There's some ashiness there. no bitterness. And I think that's going to be due to the age. And I can't even say that the ash has been upped at all from the steeping time. And so now my thoughts are to hit this with really, really hot water, steep it for as long as I can take it. Matter of fact, I think I'll time it and see what I can get out of this because I'm not getting any bitterness at all. Um, just the ashiness, the ash. All right, let's see. And with the leaves pretty much completely open now, it may have been just a bit too much water. And so I'm going to let this steep, and I'm going to kind of look at the clock here. Uh, Give it maybe a minute. I think a minute is as long as I can stand. Um, so this may be the very first um, sample that I've tried so far that I don't think I'm going to complete. I just kind of spicy. I'm getting some spicy aftertaste. Um, it's just not a tea that I enjoy drinking at all. You know, I'm more curious to see um, where I can take it and what I can get out of it. You know what I mean? But it's just not a tea that I enjoy. So I think I'm going to. Okay, that's been in it at least. Let's see. And again, I'm sure this has everything to do with age. I do have some Jingmai 2021. I believe I have Jingmai 2020 as well. And so I'll be able to kind of pick out and discern the difference between these if, in fact, age has anything to do with it. I don't know anything about the processing. You know, Farmer Leaf is really good about putting very great stories and descriptions on the website. And so I think I will go and read about this particular offering after I finish this video because either this is something that was purchased as malchar, which is just loose leaf tea that's been aged, and then he maybe cooked it or pressed it, or maybe he just pressed it. I'm not sure. Maybe this was pressed back in 2004 and then just stored. I don't know. But the leaves are completely open now, and they are big, big leaves. And so, again, I think that says a lot about the flavor profile because, again, what I'm getting is definitely forest floor, which are older leaves, right? It's those mature, you know, um, red and yellow leaves, not any greenness at all. This is a minute steeping, and the liquor is definitely darker for sure. Um, and almost no plant material. And so this is a very, um, I think the newer leaves have sort of this peach fuzz or, like baby hairs on the leaf, which makes sense if they're newer leaves. And then I think as the leaves age, they get rid of that fuzz and become more sheen and smooth. And so I think that is kind of what's going on here as far as the plant material in the brew. Again, these are definitely older leaves. Okay, so definitely starting to get something out of this. And again, this may have something to do with my water temperature because I boiled the water and then I put it in a coffee pitcher, right, and then have that on a heating pad. And so the idea is the heating pad is supposed to keep the water temperature somewhat constant. Um, but after steeping for a minute, um, I do have some bitterness there, which is really good, um, and definitely some coffee notes. Definitely some coffee notes. This is definitely a tea that I'll have if, in fact, I'm looking for um, like something like drinking coffee. You know what I mean? The ash, I think, is still there. It's still there. It's at the very top note, though, very top note, and that may have something to do with the fact that this is what the third or fourth infusion, and so that ash has sort of dissipated, but it's still there. I'm still getting forest floor. Um, Again, the 1 minute steeping time is definitely bringing out the bitterness to give it something. It's no longer a weak brew. It's no longer a weak brew. So these leaves definitely need, um, you know, some. Um, these leaves definitely need some heat. They definitely need longer steeping times, and I'm almost afraid to brew this with cooler water because I I think that I'm going to go right back into the realm of weak again, and so I'm going to continue drinking this with longer steep times, but I'm going to keep the water temperature as constant as I can, given kind of what I'm using here. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like I say, there's just nothing much at all on the nose. Like I said, a little bit of ash. I'm gonna pull some of this away from me. A little bit of ash and something like I said of a kind of a doughy thing going on. Um, hard to pin down. Starting to get a little bit of a rush. Um, not much, being that it is fourth infusion.